This is what happens to thousands of brand new cars that never find their first owner, and some of these outcomes will surprise you. Dealerships across America face a problem that most buyers never think about, where cars sit unsold for months, taking up lot space and losing value by the day. Over 3,200 brand new Dodge Chargers remained on dealer lots with no buyers by the end of 2024, and Ford had 63% of its inventory sitting as last year's models with no one interested in buying them. Jeep actually halted production of the Wrangler and Grand Cherokee because excess stock had already piled too high. The Nissan Z accumulated a 233-day supply, and the Jaguar F-Pace averaged 241 days on the lot before anyone would take it home. What exactly happens to all these unwanted vehicles reveals a side of the automotive industry that dealerships would rather keep quiet. Massive price cuts and incentives. Slashing prices until someone bites is the first move dealerships make. A car sitting on the lot is a depreciating asset, which means they throw everything at moving it, including 0% financing deals, huge cash rebates, and employee pricing programs that suddenly open to the general public. Every month that car sits there costs the dealership money because it loses value and occupies space that could hold a newer model people actually want to buy. The 2024 Hyundai Ioniq 5 came with 0% APR financing offers to make it competitive in a crowded EV market. Buyers could drive off in a brand new electric vehicle without paying interest charges, and for dealerships, this aggressive pricing was about volume over profit margin. They would rather make a smaller profit and clear the lot than watch the car depreciate further. And that's when the math becomes undeniable, because a sold car at a discount beats an unsold car at full price every single time. Converting to certified pre-owned. Dealerships get creative with inventory when price cuts don't work fast enough, putting brand new cars to work as loaner vehicles for service customers or as demo cars for test drives. After these cars rack up a few thousand miles, dealers can sell them as certified pre-owned models that still have low mileage and come with manufacturer warranties, but they move at a lower price point than brand new inventory. The Infiniti QX80 struggled to find buyers even with discounts because of its high price and declining demand for big luxury vehicles. Dealerships converted unsold QX80s into loaner vehicles for their service departments, let them accumulate mileage from customers borrowing them during repairs, then sold them as discounted certified pre-owned models that appealed to budget-conscious buyers wanting the luxury experience without the brand-new price tag. Space got freed up, the dealership recovered most of their investment, and buyers got nearly new luxury vehicles with warranty protection at better prices. Geographic redistribution. A car might not be selling simply because it's in the wrong market, where a convertible sports car in Minnesota during winter isn't appealing, and a heavy-duty pickup truck in downtown Los Angeles doesn't make much sense. Dealerships shuffle inventory around to regions where specific models will move faster, and this happens constantly with specialty vehicles and particular trim levels that appeal to different demographics and climates. The Mazda MX-5 Miata is all about top-down driving and enjoying nice weather, which means it struggles in cold weather states but thrives where there's year-round sunshine. Dealerships trade these cars to sunnier regions where demand runs much higher, and the same principle applies to the Toyota Tundra, where certain trims don't sell well in urban markets with tight parking and high gas prices, but fly off the lot in rural areas where buyers need serious towing capacity. Moving a convertible from Minnesota to Florida or a work truck from Los Angeles to Texas transforms a slow-selling vehicle into a hot commodity overnight. Wholesale auctions. Dealerships turn to wholesale auctions when the first three approaches fail to move the metal. Rental companies, fleet buyers, and wholesalers show up to purchase vehicles in bulk at significantly reduced prices, and profit margins shrink dramatically, but space gets cleared for new inventory, and at least some money gets recovered before values drop even further. The Nissan Titan struggled to compete against the dominant Ford F-150 and Ram 1500, where slowing demand combined with an aging design left many sitting on dealer lots for extended periods. Dealers sent them to fleet auctions where companies purchased them in bulk for work vehicles, and the Chrysler 300 followed a similar route as American buyers shifted away from sedans toward SUVs and crossovers. Many ended up at auctions and later appeared in rental car fleets across the country, and while auctions aren't ideal for profit margins, they help dealerships cut losses and keep inventory flowing, while fleet buyers acquire brand-new vehicles at rock-bottom prices. International export. A car that can't find a buyer in the United States stands a strong chance of finding a home in a different country. Automakers pack up slow-moving domestic inventory and ship it overseas to markets where buyer preferences are completely different, and some cars struggle here because they're the wrong size for American tastes or use too much fuel compared to what buyers expect. But in other countries, those exact characteristics might be exactly what buyers want. The Chevrolet Malibu has been struggling in the United States as SUVs and crossovers have taken over the market. South America still loves mid-size sedans as popular and practical family choices, which means rather than let Malibus sit unsold on American lots, Chevrolet redirects them to markets where buyers actually want sedans. The Ford EcoSport never caught on with American buyers who found it too cramped and underpowered. But in countries like India and Brazil, small SUVs dominate the roads because they're affordable, fuel-efficient, and perfect for crowded cities. These EcoSports get shipped abroad for a second chance at finding owners instead of piling up dust on American dealer lots, and this strategy moves inventory without destroying domestic pricing through heavy discounts. Employee purchase programs. Employees within the dealership network and the automaker itself score the best deals when inventory sits too long. Dealerships and manufacturers offer heavily discounted pricing to insiders as a way to clear out aging inventory, where staff members get exceptional discounts and the company makes space for fresh arrivals while ensuring vehicles stay within the brand family rather than ending up at auctions where they might hurt brand perception. Toyota rarely faces serious inventory issues, which is why you won't often find their models on lists of vehicles dealers can't sell. The Toyota Avalon occasionally stalls on lots because it's a large sedan in an SUV-dominated market, and that's when employees get the chance to purchase them at significant discounts without the company having to slash public pricing and potentially devalue the entire model line. Chrysler ran exclusive employee discount programs in 2023 when the Dodge Durango wasn't moving as expected, and these deals for staff ensured the SUVs didn't sit around accumulating holding costs while taking up lot space. Long-term storage. Some unsold cars don't disappear and don't get discounted either. They end up parked in massive storage lots for months or even years, waiting for the right market conditions to return. And automakers use this when they don't want to flood dealerships with inventory or slash prices in ways that could damage brand value. Rather than take an immediate loss, they press pause and store vehicles in remote holding facilities until demand improves or specific problems get resolved. The 2008 financial crisis provides a major historical example where carmakers like GM and Chrysler found themselves with thousands of unsold vehicles piling up as consumer demand collapsed to all-time lows. Cars got stored in massive yards waiting for economic conditions to improve, and a more recent example is the Ford Edge in 2022, where severe supply chain disruptions meant Ford built thousands of nearly complete Edge SUVs, but couldn't finish them because semiconductor chips were missing. Ford stockpiled them in storage lots until the missing chips finally arrived and they could complete assembly. And this approach buys time and protects pricing but costs money because storing thousands of vehicles ties up capital. The big gamble becomes whether buyers will still want these models when they finally return to dealer lots. Bulk fleet sales. Dealerships sometimes offload dozens or even hundreds of vehicles in single transactions instead of waiting for individual retail customers to trickle in one at a time. Rental companies, Government agencies and large corporations purchase entire fleets at deep discounts, allowing dealers to clear massive space almost overnight. And this works because bulk buyers genuinely need large quantities, while dealerships desperately need to move aging inventory quickly. Tesla secured a massive bulk sale to Hertz Rental Company instead of waiting for slower retail sales to gradually absorb inventory, pushing a huge number of vehicles into circulation through one major fleet deal. The Dodge Charger saw similar treatment in 2023 when Dodge announced they were discontinuing the model, and dealerships suddenly faced an inventory pileup as buyers waited for the new electric version. Many of these final gas-powered Chargers got sold in bulk to police departments and government fleets where the Charger was already a popular patrol car. And bulk sales aren't flashy with thin profit margins, but they work when time is running out on aging inventory. Aggressive leasing and subscription services. Leasing becomes the primary tool for moving inventory when traditional sales strategies aren't working. Dealerships offer lease deals with very low monthly payments that make vehicles accessible to more buyers instead of slashing purchase prices dramatically, and some automakers have launched car subscription services that let customers switch between different vehicles every few months. It's a clever way to keep cars moving without resorting to deep purchase discounts that could hurt brand value. Leasing dramatically lowers the upfront commitment, where customers who can't afford to buy or who don't want the long-term commitment can still drive a brand new car for a fraction of the purchase cost. For dealerships, it's beneficial because vehicles that might otherwise sit unsold instead generate steady monthly revenue, and the Volkswagen ID.4 in 2023 illustrates this perfectly, where unpredictable electric vehicle demand had some buyers hesitating on the technology. VW pushed aggressive lease deals to move inventory, with some customers paying as little as $269 per month, making the electric SUV more attractive than buying and more competitive with gas-powered alternatives. Cadillac faced similar challenges with their Lyriq electric SUV, where intense EV competition and price wars meant they struggled to sell at full purchase prices, and their solution was rolling out affordable lease options that drew in buyers who might not have committed to a full purchase. Scrapping and destruction. Not every unsold car gets a second chance at finding an owner. Brand new vehicles sometimes get sent directly to the scrapyard instead of the showroom in rare but real cases. And it sounds extreme and wasteful, but sometimes destroying vehicles is the only financially or legally viable option. Some cars lose so much value sitting unsold that selling them at any price would set damaging precedents for the brand. Others fail to meet changing environmental or safety regulations, making them illegal to sell in certain markets, and in some cases, automakers scrap vehicles specifically to protect their brand image and avoid the perception problems that come with desperate fire sales. The Volkswagen Dieselgate scandal created the most dramatic modern example of mass vehicle destruction. VW was forced to buy back hundreds of thousands of diesel cars from owners across the United States after the emissions cheating scandal broke, and instead of trying to resell these vehicles and risk further brand damage, Volkswagen scrapped thousands of them because the legal and reputational risks of keeping them on American roads simply weren't worth it. Tesla provides another example with their first-generation Roadster, where production ended and Tesla had leftover chassis and parts that were never completed into finished cars. Rather than try to sell incomplete vehicles or heavily discounted leftover inventory that might cheapen the brand, they scrapped or repurposed the components for spare parts. And scrapping is always a last resort because it represents a total financial loss. But when resale isn't legally or economically viable, automakers accept the hit and move on. The fate of unsold cars reveals how much pressure exists behind the scenes in the automotive industry. From aggressive discounts to international shipping, from employee deals to actual destruction, automakers and dealers use every tool available to avoid letting inventory rot on their lots, and for consumers, this creates opportunities. Cars that have been sitting for over 90 days become prime targets for negotiation, And understanding these dealer pressures gives buyers serious leverage, so the next time you walk onto a dealer lot, remember that every car sitting there is costing them money daily, and that desperation creates your opportunity for an exceptional deal. If this helped you, and you want more car tips and tricks, please hit the like and subscribe.